In today's video, we're going to be talking about powers and exponents. Okay. Here we have 2, which can be served as base, or it can be called as your power. The 4, which is on top, is called the exponent. Okay. When we repeat 2 to the 4 is the same, is equal, is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and that is called a common factors. So to get the answer of that, you multiply 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. Okay? The exponents tells you how many times to use the base as a factor. In these 4 examples, we're going to be working on write each power as a product of the same factor. So for number 1, for the first example, we have 8 to the 4th power, and we're going to write it as a product of the same factor. So what it's asking you to do is, on the right hand side, if you see, is to write it as your common factor. So here we have a's, which is going to be your base, so that's power, and we're going to write 8 times, we're going to write 8 4 times. So we're going to do 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. And we leave it like that. It's not asking us to evaluate or find the answer of it. It's just asking us to write it as the same factor. Okay. For number 2, we have 3 to the 6th power, meaning we're going to use our base to be 3, and we're going to write 3 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, you can go ahead now and try to pause the video if you think it's easy, and go ahead and try to solve 3 and 4 on your own if you think it's easy, and then see if you got the same answer. Okay, so number 3 is 13 to the 2nd power, and you write 13 times 13. And then for the last example on this one is 6 to the 3rd, so we're just going to write 6, which is our base power, and we're going to write it 3 times. 6 times 6 times 6. On these examples, we're going to evaluate each expression. What its meaning is that we have to solve for this expression. So we have 3 to the 3rd power, so we're going to have to do it and multiply and solve it. So we can do 3 times 3 times 3. Okay. If you know, you can go ahead and just multiply across. If not, you can do 3 times 3 is 9. And you still have one more, and then you multiply it by 3. So 9 times 3 is going to be 27. So your answer for number 1 will be 27. And then for number 2, you have 5 to the 2nd power will be the same thing. 5 times 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. And for number 3, you have 4 to the 4th power. So you're going to go and multiply 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. You can do it different ways. It's up to you. I usually like to group the multiplications and then go ahead and solve them. And the way I group them is the same way we did here. We group 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 times 4 is 16. And then I can go ahead and just put in your calculator or try to solve it on a piece of paper. And 16 times 16 is going to give you 256. You can also do 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 4, and when you get your answer, multiply that again by the last number, which is 4. Okay. For the last one, we have 2 to the 5th power. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So what it's saying is we're going to multiply 2 times 2 5 times. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and group them the same way. So I go ahead and say 2 times 2 is 4 times, I group these 2, is 4, and then I still have 1 left. Okay, you can go ahead and say 4 times 4, or you can do 4 times 2 and then multiply the 4. I'm going to go ahead and group these 2, continue grouping. It's 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 2. And then I'm just going to go ahead and multiply 16 times 2 is going to go ahead and be 32. So our answer for 2 to the 5th power is going to be 32. On these examples, we're going to be write each product in exponential form. So we have 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. So in this problem, we're going to use 7, and that's going to be our base slash power, which is 7. And then for our exponent, we're going to count how many times 7 repeats itself. In this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So our exponent is going to be 4. So it's going to be 7 to the 4th power. So that's going to be our answer. You can go ahead and pause the video and try to solve the next 3 problems on your own. And if you go ahead and then play it and see if you got the same answer. So here we have 10, and that's going to be our base. And for our exponent, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So it's 10 to the 3rd power. On this one, 13 is going to be our base. And we count how many 13s repeats itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our 5 is going to be our exponent. So it'll be 13 to the 5th power. Then for the last example is 5 is going to be our base. And then we need to count how many times the 5 repeats itself. 1, 2, 3. So our exponent is going to be 3. So it's going to be 5 to the 3rd power. Okay. Don't forget that if you're still confused on any of the examples that we did on this video, to go back and review the video and continue if you have to watch the video 1, 2, or 3 times. And don't forget to share the video to any of your friends that need help when it comes to powers and exponents. And thank you for watching.